Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my interactive Space Engineers series where you tell me what to build and I build it. Now what you're looking at here is the Trident Warp Transporter from episode 1 of the series, and since I've built it I've had many requests to build another personnel carrier as well as many suggestions on how to improve this ship. Now rather than retrofit this one, I decided I'd just go back to the drawing board altogether and build a new transporter based on the same design but with these improvements kept in mind and applied to it. So here it is. This is the Trident Commercial Cruiser. If the Trident Warp Transporter was a Cessna 182 of space, then this is a Boeing 737. This thing is much bigger, is much better equipped on the inside, and it can carry 118 passengers rather than the handful that the original Trident Warp Transporter could. So let's have a look around and see what it can do. Now the first thing to note with the new Trident Commercial Cruiser is it's a lot bigger than the original Trident Warp Transporter. It's about 4 times bigger in total, and that is allowing us to accommodate many new features such as the increased seating capacity as well as an oxygen supply so you can take your helmet off as you travel through space. Secondly, the most obvious change is the inclusion of solar panels on the engine nacelles themselves. I had many requests from people to put these on the original Trident Warp Transporter, but it simply wasn't big enough for them to be applied, so that's why it's partially bigger as well to fit these on. These solar panels provide all the power that the ship needs, and it means that we don't have to consume uranium to move around. Whilst there are 2 nuclear reactors on board for emergency purposes, the ship's power comes entirely from these panels, which has energy stored in batteries that are located within the centre of the nacelles. It's a very efficient way of travelling now as we consume no uranium. The only consumable thing we need to worry about is the oxygen. Speaking of the oxygen system, this is contained on the maintenance deck in the lower portion of the ship, alongside other useful machinery such as a medical bay to allow you to take your helmet off or in case someone is injured, communications systems as well as the spare nuclear reactors. As mentioned, the cabin seats 118 people who are provided excellent views of the outside through these massive windows that go from the centre down to the sides of the ship. Other features include overhead baggage compartments for cargo that people may be carrying, as well as seats that face each other so that people can have discussions, or if, maybe in the future there would be a family space outing, they could sit and talk, very much based on train seating arrangements. If we were speaking in real-world economic terms, this would make travel across the stars very cheap, as many people could travel at once on board craft like this without consuming any depletable resource. Other features inspired by real-world commercial airliners include a small area at the front of the cabin where cabin crew would sit or control certain craft functions. We have a control panel here that would lock the outer airlock doors to prevent any accidents, as well as locking the cabin door to prevent people from entering the cockpit area in a hijack scenario. We also have a control here that switches off the interior lighting to allow for dimming so people could sleep, as well as finally a switch that controls the life support system. It might be worth leaving this on, else people's eyes might pop out their heads. Finally, the last major interior change is in the cockpit, where the pilot has a very wide angle window now to improve viewing range that would allow for better flight and maybe even manoeuvring in tight situations. One thing that has remained common with the original ship is the performance capabilities. As with the last one, the nacelles are full of artificial mass blocks that get propelled forward by gravity generators at the back of them. Instead of having a simple on and off switch, we can now increase the gravity field in stages, meaning we can accelerate at a higher or lower rate depending how fast and how far we want to go. For top speed, you simply max out the gravity strength and you will accelerate to the top speed in a very short period of time. If you'd like a more gradual acceleration, then just turn the gravity field down a bit and it won't be as fast. For deceleration and braking, you can invert the gravity field, bringing the ship to a halt or then sending it into reverse. Once you've reached top speed, it's recommended you switch off the warp drives to prevent the power from being depleted. It's also recommended that you tilt the ship in such a way that some of the solar panels face the sun to allow for the recharging of the capacitor banks built in the nacelles themselves. Another thing I took into consideration whilst working on this ship was how to dock it safely with a space station, as it is a very dangerous procedure that could decompress both the ship and the space station. However, unfortunately, Space Engineers doesn't have that good of a docking system implemented in it at the moment, and I'm sure the devs will give us one soon. However, as you can see here, as I try and dock it, I end up just crashing the ship into the station and depressurising it, and likely killing everyone on board. So as a side project I decided to design a little docking system that I'll show here. It's very cumbersome, very ugly, and it doesn't really fit on the Trident commercial cruisers, so I put it on the basic red ship instead. Basically, for it to work you have to fly these docking nodes into each other, connect them. Following this you have to switch on welders to make an airtight corridor between the ship and the station, and once that's complete you can walk from one to the other without decompressing and without your helmet on. To disengage safely you have to switch these grinders on that cut away the corridor. After that you can use the merge block to disconnect, set the ship back to being a ship and pull away. It's not exactly the most practical way of doing it, but it's the only one that works currently. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Be sure to leave a like, favourite, comment and subscribe if you did. Be sure to leave any suggestions for future ships or how to improve this ship in the comments section below, and as always the link to the download will be there too. Hope you enjoyed it, take it easy, have a good day, bye bye.